Oh, beautiful ones. A full moon in Aries is never just light in the sky. It's a torch. And at 14 degrees, it burns bright at the heart of the warrior's path. But this one in particular, it's not just a torch, it's a crossroads. The moon squaring Jupiter, and then a yod of Uranus and Saturn towards Mercury that's pointing to Mercury. This is the universe demanding, which truth will you speak? Which battle will you choose? Welcome, beautiful ones. I'm Cindi, astrologer, mystic, and your guide through the stars. And you don't need to know astrology to feel what we're about to explore together. Because to me, astrology isn't just about translated charts, it's about transformation. That's why I bring you these deep dives every Monday. They take us beneath the surface of the forecasts into the myths, the archetypes, and the cosmic patterns that shape both our lives and our world. So this week we enter the Aries full moon at 14 degrees. Now, this full moon is going to be squaring Jupiter, right? The sun and the moon squaring Jupiter in Cancer, with Mercury entering Scorpio and forming a rare yod with Saturn and Uranus. So here's Saturn, here's Uranus, and there's going to be the finger of God or the yod, right? It's fiery, it's demanding, and it carries the weight of destiny. And here's why it matters. Full moons are always revelations, but in Aries, revelation becomes action. This is the moment the inner warrior stands at the threshold and asks, am I moving from fear or from freedom? Today we'll dive into what this degree means, how these aspects amplify it, and what history shows us when similar alignments appear. And most importantly, we'll walk through how you can work with the fire in your own life. So, what if the moon at 14 degrees Aries was not just a phase in the sky, but a warrior's torch, burning at the very threshold of courage and truth? Who is she, and why does her fire matter now? The full moon at 14 degrees Aries is not gentle light, it is the fire of initiation. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, the spark that begins, the force that declares, I am. But at 14 degrees, we've reached her midpoint, the place where the warrior pauses at the crossroads. She has left the beginning behind, but she has not yet reached the mastery of the end. This is the moon of testing, the moment where courage must decide its direction. Now, mythically, Aries is tied to the ram, the creature who led Jason and the Argonauts to the Golden Fleece, a symbol of divine purpose that could only be claimed through trials. In ancient cultures, this degree of Aries has been seen as a burning threshold. When equinox fires were tended, warriors initiated, and leaders tested before stepping into their roles. In esoteric astrology, Aries represents the birthplace of will. The full moon here illuminates not only what you desire, but what you're willing to fight for, to claim, to protect. So energetically, Aries carries two faces, and this moon will reveal both. The warrior of impulse, ready to charge, sometimes reckless, driven by raw need, and the warrior of purpose, choosing battles wisely, guided not just by fire, but by clarity of truth. And here's why this moon matters, beautiful ones. At 14 degrees Aries, she holds up the torch at the crossroads and asks, are you reacting or are you creating? Are you fighting out of fear or standing in the fire of freedom? This isn't only myth, it's personal. If you were born with planets or angles near this full moon at 14 degrees, So if you're Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you will feel this one like a strike in the heart. And if you don't, the moon's fire ignites every chart. It lands somewhere for each of us, and it always demands a choice. Okay, so even if you're not born with these placements, we're all going to feel it. So why does this full moon matter now? I can tell you, because her fire is not alone. It's striking Jupiter, igniting Mercury, and caught in this rare geometry of the finger of God with Uranus and Saturn. Okay? This isn't just any Aries full moon. At 14 degrees, she stands in a tight square to Jupiter in Cancer at 23 degrees. And the same day, Mercury moves into Scorpio, stepping into the apex of that rare Yod. This is what astrologers call the finger of God, with Saturn retrograde, that's internal, in Pisces at 27 degrees, and Uranus retrograde, right, and Gemini at 1 degree. That Jupiter square, Jupiter magnifies everything it touches. So when the moon squares Jupiter, emotions become big titles. Words and actions carry farther than intended. Confidence can swell into drama. Truth can expand into exaggeration. This is where the warrior's torch, right here, risks becoming a wildfire or a beacon of freedom. So collectively, expect big declarations in politics, in law, or global leadership, speeches, rulings, or protests that feel larger than life. Personally, you may feel an urge to shout your truth, to act impulsively, to push farther than you thought you could. Now, the test is, are you fighting for growth or just for noise? Now, remember, the same day, Mercury, the messenger, moves into Scorpio's depth. But this isn't a quiet entry. Mercury forms a Yod with Saturn retrograde in Pisces and Uranus retrograde in Gemini. A celestial arrow is pointing straight at the power of words. A Yod is rare, often described as the finger of God. It feels like destiny narrowing down into a single point of choice. Saturn demands responsibility. Uranus electrifies the unexpected. And Mercury's caught between them. So Mercury becomes the mouthpiece of fate. Collectively, this looks like sudden revelations, whistleblowers and data leaks exposing hidden truths, court decisions or political speeches landing with life-altering weight, media stories that rewire the conversation overnight. Personally, it can feel like your throat is trembling, something unspoken pressing to be released. You may feel cornered by a conversation, confronted by truth, or called to speak words you can't take back. So the picture is this: the full moon, warrior squaring Jupiter's tidal wave, while Mercury becomes the target of the finger of God. It is the universal setup where truth can no longer be swallowed. It must come out through confrontation, through revelation, through choice. And beautiful ones, this is why I call this the crossroads, because under these skies, silence is no longer neutral. So, having heard everything I've said, if you still wonder whether these alignments really matter, let's look to history. The Aries full moon has always been a torch at turning points. And the Yod, the finger of God, has a way of reshaping destiny in plain sight. So, let me go over some historical full moons, right? The Aries full moon is tied to collective ignition. In 1968, an Aries full moon ignited protests and uprising across the globe. Students, workers, and citizens demanding change, with words and actions echoing far beyond their moment. In 1987, an Aries full moon preceded the harmonic convergence, a spiritual wave that reshaped how millions saw destiny and the collective path. In October 2009, an Aries full moon squared Pluto, correlating with economic upheavals and political confrontations in the wake of the global financial crisis. Each time, the Aries full moon burned through illusion and demanded courage. The finger of God in history, the Yod is rare, but when it appears, it often marks a turning of the page. In 1940, during World War II, a major Yod coincided with Winston Churchill's Never Surrender speech, words that reshaped history. In 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis unfolded under a Yod configuration, an arrow point moment where a single choice could have shifted humanity's fate. The Yod is why astrologers call it the finger of God. It funnels energy into a point of destiny where neutrality isn't possible. And now, in 2025, we're seeing whistleblowers expose hidden truths. From tech companies mishandling child safety, to government agencies mishandling sensitive data, to corporations caught in fraud. These stories aren't just scandals. They're the collective mirror of Mercury and Scorpio, caught in the finger of God. Politically, leaders are making sweeping declarations and rulings that feel oversized, echoing the Moon and Jupiter square right here. In society, conversations that were taboo are suddenly everywhere, whether about safety, integrity, or the right to truth. And personally, you may feel the same pattern rising in your life, a decision that can't be ignored, a truth that must be spoken, a crossroads where silence equals complicity, but speech equals transformation. So, from 1968 uprisings to 1940 speeches to today's headlines, the pattern is the same. Aries lights the torch, Jupiter amplifies it, and the finger of God delivers it to a single choice. Now, will you speak your truth, or will you let it be spoken for you? That, my beautiful ones, is the question. So, I hope some of us understand this by now. When truth strikes like lightning, you can either burn or illuminate. The choice is in how you work with it. Okay? So, this Aries full moon isn't subtle. With Jupiter amplifying emotions and Mercury caught in that finger of God, truth will press to the surface. But the way you channel it, that's where your power lies. So, here are your tools to work with this fire. Let's start with a journal. I want you to sit someplace nice and comfortable and safe for you. And I want you to ask yourself this question: what truth am I holding back? And what would shift if I spoke it? Now, Aries is the sign of I am, and Jupiter amplifies everything. Mercury in Scorpio asks for depth, not performance. Okay? Write it down. Don't edit. Don't judge. Sometimes the page is the safest place for a truth to be born before it's spoken. Okay? It's very important. Don't edit. Don't judge. Just write. Now, as a voice practice to bring it into resonance, let's read one sentence of truth out loud. Okay? So I want you to say one sentence of truth out loud. Aries rules the head, the throat, and breath of courage. Uranus says liberation comes through disruption. Even if your voice shakes, let your ears hear your truth. This small act tells your nervous system, I can hold my own fire. This is very important, okay? You're working with your nervous system. All right, now here's steps to take, a ritual, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I want you to light a candle and whisper the words you've hidden into the flame and watch the smoke rise. Fire transforms, air carries. So this ritual honors Aries as fire and Mercury as words and Jupiter as expansion. You don't need anyone else to witness it. Your higher self hears you, your spirit hears you, and so does your body. Okay? Now, here's one for the full moon specifically, since we all love to do full moon rituals or steps to take. On the night of the full moon, step outside under her light if you can. If you can't, that's okay. A window will do. Bring 2 slips of paper. On the first, write what you are ready to release: the silence, the fear, the fight that isn't yours. Then I want you to burn it safely, letting the smoke rise as offering. On the second piece of paper, I want you to write the truth or declaration you are choosing now. So hold it to your chest once you do this. Speak it out loud. Then keep it somewhere sacred, on your altar, in your journal, or under your pillow even. This way, the Aries moon doesn't just reveal your truth, it seals it into action. Okay? Each time you feel the urge to swallow your words this week, I want you to pause and I want you to place your hands on your throat. Breathe and silently say, "My truth is safe with me." This interrupts the pattern of silence and gives you a moment of choice. Will you speak now? Will you write later? Will you hold until the right container appears? Either way, you're reclaiming sovereignty over your voice. Okay? This alignment isn't punishment, it's liberation. The fire in your throat is not your enemy. It is the torch at the crossroads, illuminating the path of freedom. Now, beautiful ones, this is not just another moon. This is the crossroads. The Aries full moon at 14 degrees is a torch. Don't forget that. She burns in square to Jupiter, magnifying everything. She ignites Mercury caught in that finger of God, pressing words that can no longer be silenced. This is the universe's way of saying your voice matters, your choice matters, your courage matters. You've been through weeks of clearing. The eclipse closed chapters. The alignment tore down illusions. And now this moon sets the stage for what comes next. But here's the truth. Silence is no longer neutral. That is not the energy we're in. To say nothing is to let the old script keep writing itself. To speak, even if you tremble, even if your voice trembles, even if it's imperfect. To speak is to shift the timeline. So under this moon, stand with your torch. Write what you release. Speak what you claim, and let her light carry your truth into the night. Because you, my beautiful one, were never here to live someone else's battle. You are here to remember your own fire and to let it burn for freedom, not fear. Now, beautiful ones, this is your moment. Step into it, not as someone reacting, but as someone remembering. The stars are not just above you, they are within you. And beautiful ones, this is why I bring you the deep dive every Monday, because the surface forecast isn't enough. These moments demand we go deeper into the myth, the archetype, and the living sky, so you can see not just what's happening, but how to transform with it. If this Aries full moon transmission stirred something in you, please remember to hype this video. Every hype tells YouTube this message matters, and it helps these truths ripple out to the collective who need them most. And if you're ready to go further, you can watch yesterday's forecast of Shift Timelines, where we go over this so you can see how this full moon fits in this whole week's story. Or you can explore the full moon and the eclipse playlist. I'll leave that here at the end or up here. Because these lunations are turning points, especially right now, and every one of them builds towards the bigger destiny arc, the one that we're living in right now. So stay close, beautiful ones. The sky is alive, and so are you. Until next time, remember the stars are not just above you, they're within you.